Hi, Peter Charles here, Folks for Life Fly Fishing, and I'd like to take a look at the Airflo Beach Line. Now, it's a line that was designed for surf fishing in the west coast of the United States for smaller species like surf perch and the like. It comes in a range of sizes from 5 weight to 8 weight. Uh, and it's built using a taper similar to the Airflo Delta taper, but it has a thick enough tip that you can turn over weighted stuff. Well, I don't live on the west coast of the United States. In fact, I live in Ontario, Canada, so pretty far away from that kind of fishing. But I love the beach line for my fishing here. So even though it's, called the beach surf line, you know, don't worry about that name. It has a lot of potential for our fishing as well. It's available in a floater, an intermediate, and in a Type 7. Well, Type 7 is, only going to be useful for really deep fishing around our parts, and I don't do much of that. But I do have the intermediate and the floater here, and I use those a lot. It's a beautiful taper, especially for single-hand Spey casting. And the intermediate has one really important feature in that they have an intermediate available with a floating running line, which is very, very important for river use. If you've seen my video on sinking lines, you'll know how I'm talking about having a floating running line for river situations. And the floater has a nice long front taper that allows both distance casting and Spey casting. So I find it to be a very flexible line, and I have it available both in the 7 weight and in the 5 weight. And I think I've also got a 6 weight as well. You get so many lines you forget what you've got. But I use the 5 weight primarily for, it's the intermediate version, and I use that for swinging streamers for trout and smallmouth bass. And this one, these two tend to get a broad range of uses for warm water fishing on my 7 weight. I have the IMX Streamer Pro, which is, said that wrong, IMX Pro Streamer, there we go, got it right. That is a one-piece rod, very interesting construction. And it's lovely for both smallmouth and carp. Now you'd say a 7 weight's a bit much for smallmouth, but since I usually end up catching carp and smallmouth at the same time, it pays not to be undergunned. I've had that experience. I landed the carp, but wow, what a workout. So I prefer to have enough rod to handle carp as well as smallmouth because I usually end up with both. So give this, if you're looking for a line that's good for distance casting, good for Spey casting, good for roll casting, has reasonably good turnover, and can toss a reasonably weighted fly, nothing really stupid, but something with a bit of weight. And also works really well at short ranges because they've got a 33-foot head, so you can load this pretty fast. Give this line a look. I mean, it's quite an interesting taper, and I found it quite useful to do a lot of my fishing. Cheers.